Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for October 8th, 2025 is now in session. I would like to introduce the board. To my far left, we have Francis Sweeney, Brian Volkolski. I am Ashley Garkar. We have Dave Rowan and Todd Goling. To my far right is Heather Freeman, our Township Zoning Inspector. And to my far left is Brady Sweeney, our legal counsel. Under advice of our legal counsel, we ask that anyone speaking tonight must be sworn in. If you plan on speaking, can you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help me God. If so, say I do.
I do.
You may be seated. When presenting your case or commenting, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Heather, was the legal notice published in a timely manner?
Yes, they were.
Thank you. Tonight we have a total of 4 variances, 2 old business and 2 new businesses. A 3-vote majority is required for either approval or denial. First on the agenda is old business. We have variance application 2025-176 from Andrew Solon. He's requesting a variance from section 15.03A7 to allow for more than 1 detached accessory building to be located on a lot less than 2 acres in lieu of the maximum 1 permitted. A second variance is requested from section 15.04B to permit an accessory building to be located with a 16-foot front building setback in lieu of the minimum 50-foot setback required. This is for the property located at 11251 Girdle Road, also known as parcel number 08A012-0-00-043-0. Heather, can you please give a summary of the application?
Sure. I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Just a couple slides I'm going to have here up on the TV screen over here. The subject property is located at the northwest corner of Girdle and Orchard Road. It's a corner lot. The property is zoned R1 residential and contains approximately 0.87 acres. The property is currently developed with a single-family dwelling that has an attached 2-car garage, which was built in 2021. The property also has a partially fenced-in yard, above-ground swimming pool, shed, and a chicken coop. As proposed, the applicant would like to construct what would be a 3rd accessory building on their property. The building will be approximately 998 square feet and will include a couple covered porched areas. You can see on this slide here, on the image on the left, I've identified the proposed location on the site plan and then also from an image that I took from the roadway. The proposed accessory building will be located approximately 110 feet from the west property line, 30 feet from the north, which is the rear property line, 16 feet from the east property line or the edge of the right-of-way from Orchard Road, and 30 feet from 130 feet from the front south property line. Pursuant to section 15.03A7, lots that are less than 2 acres in area are permitted to have not more than 1 detached accessory building not to exceed a total of 1,024 square feet. Pursuant to section 1504B, buildings must provide a minimum 50-foot front building setback from any lot line abutting a public right-of-way.
Thank you. You're welcome. Applicant, could you please come forward to the microphone, present your case, and also first, last name, and address for the record.
Good evening. My name's Andrew Salonen. My property address is 11251 Girdle Road, Concord Township, Ohio 44077. Yes. So as Heather mentioned, quite nicely, I'm looking to build a detached barn on the property, right where it was depicted there on screen, and hopefully you had an opportunity to get a copy of that. The barn itself will serve as a detached garage for my RV to protect that from the elements, as well as a workshop for myself and for some additional storage. As an added benefit, with the increased traffic on Orchard as a result of the Ivy Ridge development, it'll service some privacy for my family, as well as just keeping the kids safe in the back from running that direction out into the street. So beyond what was already described, the barn itself will stay under all of the other requirements for a detached structure under 2 acres. So it's under the 1,024 square feet, and it will not exceed the 20 feet max height. So wanted to point that out. Other than that, yeah, just appreciate your consideration for the variance. I am comfortable in saying that this will be the last variance that I'll be requesting from you all. So as fun as these are, I do appreciate the consideration here. Let's see if there's anything else I needed to mention. I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah, I'll just open it up for any questions that you have about the building.
Does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
Will this be eliminating the chicken coop and the shed? Will you move them into the barn?
No, the coop and the shed will remain where they're at. So it's on the opposite side of the property.
Yeah, right.
Heather, I have a question, I think, for you, though. Applicant, you made a comment about it being under the 1,124 square footage. Isn't that for all buildings combined if you're under 2 acres, not one singular building?
For a lot less than 2 acres, by right, you're permitted only one accessory building, not to exceed 1,024 square feet.
Only one, oh, never mind. Okay, thank you. The way it was phrased. Thank you.
Yeah, I had tried to look and see if there was anything saying combined for if you had received a variance, and I didn't see anything in the zoning to indicate as such.
Okay.
This particular building, other than requesting the additional accessory building and the southeast corner being within that 50 feet of Orchard, it'll abide by all the remaining requirements. The other thing, the structure itself will not impede any visibility for any drivers coming off of Orchard, making their way to Girdled. If you heard, the setback from Girdled to the barn is well over 50 feet. So the only thing that it's going to limit is the visibility of pedestrians and drivers looking into the backyard.
A question for you, looking at your property, though, septic. You
Yes.
have septic.
Yes.
Have you talked to the health department? Is there any clarification of that? To me, I do not have a septic tank, so I'm not very knowledgeable on it, but I do understand that there's your septic tank and then there's also a reserve area. Looking from the aerial views, it looks like you're putting it right on the reserve. And from my understanding, the county does not allow you to build on top of reserves.
So that shouldn't be on top of the reserves, and it's going to be away from the actual leach mound itself.
Okay.
Talking to the builder, I didn't talk to the health department personally, but Pole Barns Direct has built hundreds and hundreds of these barns, and it came personally, inspected the property, inspected the location of where it was going to go, and indicated that was not going to be an issue whatsoever with where we had decided to place the barn.
Okay. So you've not spoken to the health department about building on top
personally,
of
no,
the reserve or not?
I have not personally.
Okay. Do you know exactly where your reserve septic is?
I can't. So I guess I'm a little confused as to what what is considered the reserve.
From my understanding, there is your septic tank, and then there is a reserve area that if something happens to your septic, there is a spot on your property that is already designated by the health department that would be your secondary, your reserve septic.
Okay, so like a backup location for a future tank?
Correct. And Heather or someone, please correct me if I'm wrong on the septic situation.
That's, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, so you're not aware if it is being put on where the health department stipulates that your reserve is supposed to be open?
If it's supposed to be in line with where the pipe is going to the leach field, then it is not being built over top of that. If you look at the current tank, it would not be in line with that, so.
So it's not where the piping is, it's your Heather, do you know off the top of your head how far off you can build on top of reserves? Wasn't it like 10 feet off or away or something?
Information that I've received from the health district for lots that have septic is that, like, buildings and structures need to be at least 10 feet away from septic components.
Okay, so that includes the reserve area or just the septic?
That's my understanding.
Is the reserve area, okay.
From the
10 feet away from the
replacement
reserve.
area and the actual.
So that is not something you've discussed with the health department to make sure you're not building something on top of?
Yeah, it's definitely not going to impede the septic as it currently stands.
Okay.
Anything related to the leach field
But you have
I can't
not
speak to.
verified that with the health department?
On building in a location where maybe a future tank would be? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking if you've talked to the health department about where your septic tank and your reserve is located
Okay.
to where you are putting your pole barn. Have you talked to the health department?
I have not.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
as I mentioned, with the builder, I trusted his judgment there on his experience building around Geauga County and places where they traditionally are using septic.
Okay. Has there been any conversation with your builder about the septic tank at all?
Yes, when he came out, I specifically said, is this gonna be an issue with where we're wanting to put this based off of the septic, where it's going to the leach
Okay.
mound and its proximity to the mound itself? And he said not at all.
Okay.
Are there any county permits required for this? I'm not aware of any, I'm just asking if.
Not that I'm aware of.
Building permit.
I think it depends on the size for a building, I'm not sure.
But, yeah, that's, I mean, the whole septic, it's just not in the curtilage of the request.
Well, I'm only asking about the,
Yeah, but I mean, if he wants to build it on top of his mound, that's
Right,
not, that
right.
doesn't fall here, it's just whether or not he can build a third one. That's what I'm looking at, if I'm not mistaken.
okay. And then your other two buildings, the coop and the shed, from the aerial, and I'm not sure if, can't recall from the previous variance, like, did you relocate the coop? I can't remember.
I did not, no, so
Or the
the
shed. So
first
they're all
variance-
like, it looks like they're all like on that
Yeah, they're
back
all
corner.
along the fence line there,
Okay.
so kind of the 8x10 shed kind of completes, the west side of that wall completes the fence line. And then the same thing, the west side of the coop kind of completes the fence line, if you will.
Yep.
And that's in the very far corner there.
So they're both like in that
Yeah,
corner.
and it's also my understanding that the coop itself is exempt because it's for animal husbandry by the code. So I believe it's just a second accessory building that my variance was.
From my
requested
understanding, it is
for.
a secondary, what you were asking is technically a second, according to our zoning, is a secondary because an ag building cannot necessarily be considered a secondary if you are above the 1 acre. So you've already had the variance for being above the 1 acre of allowing for the chicken coop as well as less than 10 feet off the line, I think is what it was.
Correct.
Are there any other
And we
questions?
have you on record, you're not gonna add any more buildings.
This is the last building. This is it. Absolutely. I'm confident in saying that.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay, you can be seated.
All right, thank you.
I would like to entertain a motion for this permit, or sorry, for this application.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, we want to make sure we vote on these variances separately?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
Entertain, but splitting it up of, because there are two variances being asked for. So the first one being just the building itself, and then if we approve or deny the building, then I'll entertain a motion for the location of the building. So if someone would like,
So do we have anybody speaking for or against? Do we need to ask that before we do that?
do we have anyone speaking for or against this? So I will entertain a motion for the first half of the variance, or the first part of the variance of just singularly the building.
So
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
I mean, I think it's a significant building, and being three buildings, obviously, I think that's where, if there is concern, that's where the concern is. But, you know, obviously, it's up for discussion. So curious what other people's thoughts are. I'm not sure either way yet how I feel about voting on this, like which way I'm voting. But I think, you know, it is a nice design. So from that aspect, you know, it aesthetically it's nice. You know, again, I think the bigger concern is just having multiple buildings, but also it's a corner lot that plays into it. I'm curious how you guys are thinking or feeling or
I
thoughts.
do agree that it's a corner lot, but now this is the second or third time that he's been in front of us, the corner lot, so definitely knows this corner lot is under an acre. I do remember pretty detailed the last time he was here about the way the setbacks are, making it right under the 1 acre versus 1 acre. But even if it was at full 1, 3 buildings,
Still need
is-
2 acres or be
it still
above
is
2 acres.
excessive. So he's with or without with or without that setback. So I know that was a large debate last time with the chicken coop. He still would be needing the variance for additional buildings anyway. I struggle seeing the need of how this is an actual need, given there are 2 other buildings, even though legally you can only count it as 1 because ag buildings do not count towards buildings. Physically speaking, there's still 2 other structures for him to put things in that he's already asked for. Could have been bigger in the first place. Make a bigger shed, not have the RV there. I know there's other places to place RVs. So it seems like that's a big aspect of it. I struggle seeing how this is a need of 2 to 3 buildings, depending on how you count that.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's 3 outbuildings. Seems like a lot for 0.86 acres. The setback variance for it being on a road that's only going to get slightly more heavy traveled. You know, I believe the report said a 68% reduction in setback. So to me, that's a substantial reduction. It's a little difficult because I think the building that's being proposed is a pretty high quality building, and I think it would match the house. I would have preferred to see that it was in lieu of maybe one of the other buildings, that the shed was going to go away. So I'm kind of conflicted on this one.
Skip, do you have anything?
I mean, I think it looks nice. I mean, I understand the I understand violating the variance or the code requirements. And I understand that he's been here before. I don't know anywhere in the code where it says you can only get 1 variance or 2 variants. You can come back here as many times as you want. Okay? And I don't want the residents to think that if they come back for more than 1 variance, we're gonna judge them for it, or we're not gonna review it on the merits. So I don't want that to be the message here tonight. I think that the reason we give variances is because there are unique circumstances to each piece of property that not necessarily require the variance, but will allow the variance because of how it fits and whether it really causes a problem. I think the way that this is designed, I think it looks great. I think that area is a gravel area as it stands. It's going to remain a gravel area. Not necessarily the most pleasing thing in the world, no offense. And you're going to park your RV there, which you're allowed to do anyway. I think that if it's abutted against a building, it's going to be a nicer image as you drive up and down Girdles or Orchard. And I think, frankly, it pulls everything together on that property with, I mean, 'cause that's a nice place. And then, I mean, all you need to do is look down the street at the units being built on Ivy, or whatever those roads are in the Ivy development, and it's like, there's like 3 feet between them. I mean, it's not pleasing. So, I mean, so for me to vote positively on something like this is not a problem. Does it pass the Duncan factors? I think barely, but it does. I think that it adds to the character, it doesn't take away from the character of the neighborhood. I think it adds to it. And yeah, is it another variance? Yes, it is. But I think that's the reason we're here, is to make decisions on a case-by-case basis, and I think it would be a good decision to allow this to go forward.
Any other discussion? Well, in that case, Heather, would you like to call the roll for a vote?
So this first vote is just to allow the accessory building. The second vote will be for the setback, is that correct?
Correct.
Right.
Okay. Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Goling?
No?
Mr. Rowan?
Yes.
Ms. Garkar?
No.
Mr. Falkowski?
No.
Righty?
Is the second
Do we need
application
to
moved?
do a second? Since we denied the building, do we need to vote on if he's allowed to have less than the setback?
You probably do unless the applicant would like to withdraw based on the first vote.
Okay, so I would just ask the applicant if he'd like to withdraw the second part of his variance,
Correct.
since the first part was denied.
So would we be voting on it if it were just like a primary, like if he wanted to put a building there irrespective of the second or third issue?
Right, so if we,
Is it cool that he puts this building here if he were allowed to? Is that
but he
what
would
we're
still have to
voting?
come back and ask for a second
So I
building.
guess I thought it was based on these plans. So in other words, if it's, in other words, is your question basically, is he asking for a variance for a location to put in a detached building at some point in the future, not necessarily this one?
I think
Do you know what I'm saying? Or,
yeah,
because I think it is contingent really on whether or not there was going to be that.
The building, right.
accessory.
so since we deny the accessory building, we do not need to vote
I
on
still think
location.
you would vote unless the applicant wants to withdraw. Because
Oh.
it's been presented, right? I mean, did
Right.
he present? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So,
Okay,
I know that sounds silly.
it's okay. Andrew, would you like to come up and let us know if you would like us to vote or withdraw for the location?
I guess I have a couple of questions first, because
Did you close the public?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you close already the public hearing on this?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
but I did ask him to come up
That's fine.
and withdraw or not withdraw.
Right. Okay.
Do I need to open the public hearing
Nope,
back up for
you
him to
do not.
talk?
No.
Okay.
yeah, I guess I have some questions, because yes, I would like there to be a vote on whether or not I can put the barn where I'd like to put it. The question is now, if you dislike the fact that I've been here 3 times because I put the coop in and it was done nicely and aesthetically to the area, out of sight, out of mind of everybody, as well as my shed, which is the same thing, non-issue to my neighbor, completes the fence line, no issues there, it just holds a mower. It's an 8x10 shed, it holds a mower, right, that's all that's in there, and some chicken feed now. If I tear down my hard work on the shed, does that satisfy the requirement in order to have the barn? Because you just voted no based off of 3, well, actually 1 accessory building.
Yeah, like the 2/3 buildings.
Right.
So
Righty?
Brady, at this point, the vote's been taken.
That's correct. And your recourse is to appeal.
Okay, so I'll do that.
For the
I'll definitely
building.
appeal that.
That is correct.
So the question is, do you want us to go forward with the second variance, or do you want to withdraw that, given that we've denied the first variance?
Well, I guess I'd like to know if I can build it in its current location with the understanding that I'm gonna have to put an appeal in order to get the
You'd have to
barn
get the
built.
appeal approved, you'd have to win the appeal first,
Correct.
and then I guess you would have to come back and get the second variance.
That's correct.
Which
Once
would
that-
still have the setback situation.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, for the setback, either we can vote now on that, gets approved or denied, and then you appeal both if that one also gets denied, or, if it gets
Well,
approved.
then I would need to know that you're deliberating over the fact that you have to set the fact that I had the shed aside and not consider that in your decision-making.
Yeah, I'm really confused now, Brady.
No, I mean, you guys can vote if you want, or he can withdraw, so. This is
Okay.
what you guys would like to do. You can consider anything in your decision, so.
Okay. So right now the question is just if the applicant would like to withdraw the ask for.
I think what he's asking is that
The
he's
16 foot to
confused
50.
as to the reasoning why there were why the no votes were no votes.
And I'm not sure
Is that
that's
true?
for us to
Well,
discuss.
of
that make
course,
sense?
I'm curious about that, but it sounds like that's for an appeal process. But for this second vote, in order of having the setback off of Orchard of less than 50 feet, that's under the understanding now that I don't have, that it's not a second or third accessory building for this vote. So we're voting on just the fact that
Brady,
it's
I'm letting
within
you into
50
this.
feet.
Can I just ask, what would you need that second variance for if you're not building the barn?
Well, because I'm going to tear down my shed, I guess, if I can't get past since you're requiring me to tear down a $5,000 shed in order to build a barn for my RV.
That wasn't one of the conditions on there.
Well, that's
Okay.
essentially what we're saying. But if I go and do that, which I'm going to appeal, and if I lose that, I'm gonna take it down, and then I'm still gonna want the barn over the shed, because I still want to protect the RV, which is worth way more to our family than my mower shed.
Okay.
So if
The
he goes
plans
in-
we have before us do not show that you would be taking down the shed.
Right, but now that I got a no vote because of the shed, it plays a factor in this next vote, the way I see it.
I mean, so you're amending your application then?
I'm not a lawyer.
No, my point is you're adding something new, right? You're saying, listen, with respect to this second variance, you are saying that you are affirmatively telling the board that you're going to take down the shed.
If I can't get past my appeal, then I will take the shed down, and I will
Okay.
have one accessory building that I'm coming here, and just one variance for the setback, which is what is
Got it.
now in question.
I do have a question that you might clarify. Hypothetically, very hypothetically, you appeal. Things go against it, say you cannot have that second building still. Which means you're saying you would potentially tear down your shed, still want the building there. If it goes that far, and presents completely, it would be technically a fourth application, I think, with us, like after the appeal process. And he presents that shed again, exactly as he has it presented now, but this is after the appeal process. Okay, so we said no twice.
And what happened to the appeal, hypothetically?
Hypothetically, we said no, he still cannot have.
No, I know, what's
Have
the
it.
appeal? I'm sorry, when I say appeal, I mean to the court, so. when
Oh,
you
so
say
no, appeal, because he can appeal our decision.
To the
So
court.
if the court denies it, is what you're
Right.
asking.
So goes through all that process. He still is not allowed to have physically this building. He then comes back and says, hey, I will tear down my shed and build this exact thing. Even if we voted today of that 16-foot setback, we would still have to vote again with a new application anyway, correct?
Possibly, I'm sorry. I didn't follow the whole thing because I'm still trying to think like what happened on the appeal. Did the court actually affirm the decision of the BZA? Because then it would
Yes.
be, yeah, we barred by res judicata, I think.
So
Some circumstances may have changed if he takes down the shed, I suppose.
But I was saying, like, what other circumstances say he's not allowed to build a second building for whatever reason, whether he chooses to tear down the shed himself or it goes to court, whatever the reasoning is, he's not allowed to build a second building. And so he comes back for whatever reason and says, I'm tearing down my shed. I still want this big pole barn, and here are the same exact plans. If we voted yes today on our 16-foot setback, does that still go to his new application for a pole barn? Or would we have to vote again on the 16 feet again?
So is he asking for a different variance? Again, I'm sorry, I'm not.
If he gives us the same exact building a second time, but he's ripping down the shed.
Again, I don't know if that would be barred by res judicata. In other words, you guys have already heard it, or if the tearing down the barn or the shed, excuse me, is considered a change of circumstance.
Okay,
So I mean, actually, I would probably rule on the side of, yeah, you guys should probably hear that.
Okay, so we would have to vote the 16 feet again.
You would
anyway.
have to hear it,
Okay,
yeah. Because
Okay.
I think it sounds like a changed circumstance. to me.
okay.
But again, if it's the exact same plan and no changed circumstance and it goes to an appeal, the court affirms your decision, then you really technically cannot hear it again.
Okay.
If you vote on my 16-foot setback and that gets approved, and tomorrow I take my barn down, my shed down, I can start building my barn. That's the way I understand it, correct?
I don't think so.
Because that'd be the only variance I'm requesting at that
You're
point.
requesting a location variance, right?
Right.
But not necessarily, but based on what plans? Because,
Those plans.
yeah, but they just turned down the actual,
They turned down the fact that I am
The
asking
barn.
for a second accessory building.
right,
The coop is not considered.
Right.
Correct.
okay, I mean, you guys can consider whatever you'd like.
I mean, could we have implemented some sort of conditions?
Well, now that
which
you've already
would have-
voted.
No, we've already
Avoided.
voted
No.
no. So the question is just on the 16 foot. If the applicant would like to withdraw the 16 feet or maintain it. If, from my understanding, the maintaining I'm very confused with, but if he withdrew it, he could present it again with a different building depending on what happens in the future, or the same exact building.
Correct.
So the answer is yes, I'd like you to vote on whether or not I can have the barn
Okay.
in the location that's on those plans.
Okay, so
Well,
yes.
no, because we just,
Well, you said no to the barn, so yes, you would still like us to vote on the 16 foot situation.
It's the
I think
barn
technically
is-
if you went forward.
The barn has
on-
been denied,
if
but
you
the
went
16
forward
feet.
on the side lot variance and you got rid of the coop, I don't think you'd have to come back here.
The coop is not considered a building.
You mean
Right.
the shed? Right,
The shed,
Right.
not the coop.
Right.
Or the shed.
Right.
I'm sorry, the shed.
okay.
You wouldn't have to come back here.
Right, that's why my understanding.
Skip,
But-
that's
yeah.
not for the BZA to decide.
Correct.
It's
Please
not for us to
don't
decide.
that, that's for the zoning inspector to decide when. an
Well, no, he'll get a
application is
notice
submitted.
from you or not, is what I'm saying. I mean, you'll give him a new notice if he's out of compliance.
There would still be.
It's not gonna stop the
Applications.
process. That's just my interpretation of it.
Would you like us to vote on the 16 feet or not the 16?
I would like you to vote on the 16-foot setback for the barn that is in this packet that was presented here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like you to vote on,
The 16 foot, okay.
I don't,
So I will entertain a motion to vote on the 16 foot setback. Hold on. Is there anyone else speaking for or against the 16 foot setback? If not, I will reclose the public hearing for this variance application on the 16 foot setback. I will now entertain a motion for the 16 foot setback.
so moved.
Second. Discussion.
My opinion is, from talking with Bridie, I think, given what we have, my opinion is to deny it with the stipulation that it's attached to the plans he gave us that have an existing building ready. I'm not saying I'm denying it as a general statement. If there was not other buildings and there's other factors that have changed, would very much so be very willing to discuss the 16 foot. But on the principle of the building that the 16 feet is attached to, I would say it is best just to close that off and reevaluate it when we have the full plans with or without an additional building.
Yeah, it can't stand alone. That variance can't stand alone.
Right. Now,
And
if
since-
there
and
was more
since the
factors
sub-
to
And
it,
since the reason for that variance was dependent upon the approval or denial of the first application
Correct.
variance, or variance, whichever, then it's impossible to vote on it.
well, we have to vote on it. It's a yes
No,
or
we
no
don't have to
vote.
vote on it. Do we have to vote on it?
You just need a motion, so.
All right.
But this is one that to me is a lot more clear cut. If he came back with another 16 foot, I would very willingly hear the case of that situation. If there's
Withdraw a
something,
motion?
No, let's vote on it.
He asked us to vote on it.
Okay.
So I'm not saying forever, this is not a forever denial, this is a denial of simply 16 feet for this one singular building. This one singular application.
Well, we're gonna vote on it.
Yes.
Okay.
My opinion of a no vote is for this singular application, not future applications. That's what I'm clarifying. Is there any other discussions? Heather, would you like to call roll?
For the vote?
For the
Sure.
vote, yes.
Yeah. Mr. Rowan?
Yes.
Ms. Garkar?
No.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes?
Mr. Golding?
Can I abstain? I'm not 100% sure what I'm voting on. I really don't know. Because it's chicken and the egg. Can I
That's
abstain?
what I tried to tell, that's
I
what I
mean,
tried to say, but we have to vote on it.
No, you can abstain, of course.
Okay.
But
Mr.
bear in
Falcone?
mind now, we might have, okay.
All right?
Are you abstaining then?
You're abstaining?
I'll vote no.
Mr. Falkowski?
No.
Your application 2025, both aspects of it, 176, has been denied. Okay. Okay. Next on the agenda is still an old business. This is variance application 2025 177. What's the agenda? I'm sorry, 2025-178 for Freddie Lark. He is requesting a variance from section 15.04B1 to permit an accessory building to be located with a 2-foot left side yard clearance in lieu of the minimum 10-foot. A second variance is requested from section 15.04B1 to permit a 5-foot right side yard clearance in lieu of the 10-foot required. A third variance is being requested from 15.04B1 to permit a 0-foot rear yard clearance in lieu of the minimum 10-foot required. This is for property located at 11599 Girdle Road, also known as parcel number 08-A-000-B-00-001-0. Heather, can you please present this case?
Okay.
Thank you.
A couple slides here for you. On the right-hand slide, picture on the right is an aerial of the property. It's outlined in red. And then on the left-hand side is just a street view image of the house. The property is located on the north side of Girdle Road between Sunshine and Ravenna Road. It's zoned R1 residential and contains approximately 0.1 acres of land. The property is currently developed with a single-family dwelling with an attached 2-car garage that was built in 1949 and remodeled in 1990. The attached garage was added in 1993, and there was a fence that was constructed earlier this year as well. The property also has an existing shed. As proposed, the applicant is wishing to remove the existing shed from the rear yard and replace it with a new shed. The existing shed was erected prior to this applicant purchasing the home and was constructed without a zoning permit. In addition to it being constructed without a zoning permit, it also violates the existing side yard and rear yard clearance requirements. So the new shed that they'd like to replace it with will be essentially in that same location. The new shed will be about 2 feet away from the west property line, 5 feet from the east, 105 feet from the front property line, and essentially no setback from the rear property line. Pursuant to section 1504B1, the minimum side and rear yard clearances are 10 feet in this district.
Thank you, Heather. Applicant, can you please come forward to the microphone and present your case? And also a reminder, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Freddie Lark. I live at 11599 Girdle Road. And I don't know if you have pictures of the existing shed and what the fence looked like before. I recently had the fence. Yes.
Yeah.
And I had a new deck. I had an old deck, had that torn down, rebuilt the deck. I think it's a 16 by 20, like 16 by 14, but a smaller deck. And the old shed is brown. Well, with the old fence there being a brown fence and a brown shed, it sort of went together. Now with the white fence, with that brown shed, it's an eyesore. And I have a two-car garage, but it's a small two-car garage, and I need the shed for storage. I bought the house in '86, and at the time, you know, the shed was there. And the way that you can't see the shed from the back, but it actually goes to a point. And if those two walls are extended, it would roughly be 8 by 10. And I just want to replace it with an 8 by 10 vinyl shed. It's going to be a gravel pad. The vinyl shed will have a vinyl floor, vinyl shed. And in order to meet the sit-back requirements, if I moved it forward, it would be over my septic tank. But then if I tried to get it away from my septic tank, it would be like probably right behind my deck. And I just want to replace it with something that looks nice. And it'll look nice when people are driving. I mean, my house sits real close to the road. So people say either they see it or they don't. But if you do see it, and I've gotten a lot of compliments, and from my neighbor, on the new white fence, and I just think replacing my shed, I don't want it to be any bigger, with a nice shed will just add to the looks of my house in that area.
So you're moving the existing shed
The existing shed.
10 by 8,
It's gonna be torn down.
and just putting up a different color one so it matches the fence.
Right, what's there now is a wooden shed.
Same footprint.
Yeah, it'll be, but I think what the people did in '96 is they had leftover wood. So it looks like they just threw this shed together, and 30 years ago, you know, it was a nice shed. But now, and I want to keep my snow blower in my shed so I don't have to keep it in my garage, because when I back because one vehicle has to be backed in, one vehicle has to be pulled in. Because I don't know if you ever go down Girdle Road, you'll see my house. I mean, I have, from the garage to the road is 30 feet. And backing out, I have to turn around, because backing out of my driveway on Girdle is not something you want to do. But if I could get my snow blower in the shed, I would have more room in my garage where I could back both vehicles in order to open, Because right now, if I did that, it's too close for the passenger door on the one vehicle if it's backed in, you know, to get out, so you have to pull it. That's all I want to do is just put up a new shed.
Okay.
Do we have any questions for the applicant?
No.
I'm sorry. If there are no questions for the applicant, you're more than welcome to be seated if there's nothing else.
No,
Okay.
that's,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Is there anyone else speaking for or against this applicant variance? Okay, hearing nothing else, this public hearing for this variance is closed. And before I do entertain a motion, I know there are 3 pieces of this. Is this one we can just do one vote since it's all pertaining to the same concept of setbacks?
You can.
Or do we need to do it
No,
on 3 different ones?
You can.
Okay. I will entertain a motion for all 3 parts of the full variance.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Grandfather.
I like it. It's replacing the existing one. If you look at the one picture, you can see a shed or a building just on the other side. I don't know if it's a house or whatever, but I mean, it's a nice fence, nice shed, will match. It's a unique lot, you know, with the dimensions. It's off the road. It's gonna be hard to see, I think. I'm for it.
I see what he's talking about. That would drive me berserk to not have it match. That would drive me nuts.
Oh, it's driving me nuts now.
Thoughts, comments from you two?
I'm good. I'm just gonna say, Mr. Lark, is it? Lark?
Yes.
You did a great job of addressing the Duncan factors in your application.
What is that?
You addressed issues which the Duncan case brings up, which need to be weighed before voting on a variance. And you said, for example, if the variance is granted, no other properties or governmental services will be affected. You weren't aware of the zoning restrictions, and you purchased the house in what year?
August of '96.
Yeah, and back in '96, because I was,
You were 12.
that was, I wish. It was a heck of a lot easier to pull out, to back out on Girdle back then than it is today.
Oh,
Like, you could go and stand in the middle of Girdle back then.
yes.
There was so little traffic.
And people still, my driveway used to, it had like a half circle. And so people would turn around in my driveway all the time. And now, you know, I'll sit on the front porch, now when people are turning around, I'll wave to them. You know, and I'll tell them sometimes, you picked the wrong driveway to back out of, because I have a pole on this, and if I'm looking
Right.
east,
I
it's
drive
clear.
past your house every day.
So you know,
Yeah,
yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta be quick.
yeah. So anyway, I think it's great. It looks
Yeah.
great.
I think it's just a case of a physical building on grandfathered in, not the concept, and it's just replacing what's there that has been very much so shown and proven that it goes with the Duncan factors, and
I'm not sure, I think,
more towards
I
a
think
need.
the original didn't have a permit, so I'm not sure that it was grandfathered in, but it is replacing a building that was there. It's,
Yeah.
whatever, but I think
Right,
we
it's
all
not
have
technically
agreement.
grandfathered in.
Yeah.
Right.
but
It's
it
just a
is-
term of art.
Yeah.
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 Yep. Okay. Any other discussion? Heather, would you like to call the vote?
Sure. Mr. Rowan?
Yes.
Mr. Falkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes?
Mr. Bowling?
Yes.
Ms. Garkar?
Yes. Your application has been approved.
All right. Good luck.
Have fun matching your fence and your,
Oh,
It'll be very exciting.
So when you
Yes.
drive by, slow down and look, and I gotta say, this young man
driveway.
has been very helpful to me when I started all my fence, my deck, and everything. So he is a good all
Ah,
around.
Mike,
Thank you.
yeah.
And thank Mike here too.
thank you.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck.
You're
Next,
a good guy, see?
Yes, he is.
next on the agenda, we're now into the new business. So next up, we have variance application 2025-179. Matthew Fortuna is requesting a variance from section 34.04A1 to allow the construction of a 6-foot tall fence in lieu of the maximum 4 feet tall fence. This is for the property located at 9988 Concord Point Court, also known as parcel number 10-A-028-Z-02-001-0. Heather, would you like to give a summary of the application?
Yes. I'd be
Thank
happy
you.
to. Yeah, again, over here on the screen, I have two images. On the left is a street view of the property from Concord Point, and on the right is kind of a location map outlining the parcel in red for you there. The subject property is located at the south side of Concord Point Court at the intersection of Concord and Button Road. The property is zoned R1 residential and contains approximately a half acre. It's currently developed with a single-family dwelling with an attached two-car garage that was built in 2003. The property also has a deck which was added in 2009. As proposed, the applicant is wishing to erect a 6-foot tall vinyl privacy fence to enclose the rear and side yard areas. The proposed fence will project approximately 19 feet from the face of the dwelling easterly towards Button Road and then extend southerly approximately 50 feet, then extending westerly another 70 feet and north an approximate 50 feet and finally 11 feet to the east face of the dwelling. As you can see on the site plan there, we've kind of outlined that proposed fence area in yellow. Due to the location of the property at the intersection of two right-of-ways being a corner lot, that side that it is the side yard between Button Road and the dwelling is considered a front yard, and the restriction is the fence can be no taller than 4 feet. So the applicant pursuant to section 3404A1 is requesting a variance to allow 6 foot instead of the 4 feet.
Thank you. Applicant, if you'd like to come up, present your case, and just a reminder to please state your first and last name and your address for the record.
Good evening, name's Matt Fortuna, live at 9988 Concord Point. Thanks for having me to present my case here. Basically looking to erect roughly 200 feet of 6-foot high white vinyl fence. I've got 3 young children and a dog living on the corner of a semi-busy road, so it's just for, a place for them to play safely without the concern of them, getting out of the yard and getting onto Button Road somehow. One unique factor is there's a wooded buffer along basically the entire property line along the Button Road side of the property. This fence would be inside of that and really not visible from Button at all, at least when leaves are on the trees. It's similar in character to other fences in the neighborhood. I think there's 2 neighbors that have white vinyl fences, and there's 2 others that have wood. So there's only 8 houses on the street, 4 of them have fences. It's not going to create any line of sight issues, to my knowledge, because there's already like a 40-foot wide wooded buffer there, and this won't go beyond that. So it's really as simple as that. The 4-foot fence is a concern for me. I think my dog would jump it, quite honestly. So that's the biggest concern I have with the 4-foot fence. And as the kids get older, they would hop that easier. So with where the fence will be situated in relation to the vegetation, I'm hoping that we can approve a 6-foot fence. So that's really all I got.
Does anyone have any questions, comments for our applicant?
Thank you for your letter. I thought it spelled everything out. Very easy to follow.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
You may be seated.
All right. Thank you.
Is there anyone else speaking for or against this variance application? Hearing nothing, I would entertain a motion for this variance.
So moved. Second?
Okay, discussion.
Yeah, just unfortunate 2 front yards. I see his point.
Yeah.
It's like it's all there, the woods, visibility, the safety aspects, and to the excellent point made, he did a great job spelling out the factors and the reasoning behind it, especially the minimal negative impact in neighborhood compatibility, being as half the neighbors are already there. So, yes, I'm good. Thank you.
I agree with everything Mr. Golang said.
I agree with Wood.
I do too,
No,
which
I
is rare.
I agree as well, and I can confirm you cannot see through those as a normal running path. I don't know.
What kind of dog do you have?
It's a pit bull mix.
Yeah, you don't want him jumping over the fence.
Yeah.
Who's friendly, but very athletic. So.
Yes. Definitely can't see it where I don't see an issue with it being a visual situation. Significantly less than the tree visual situation that is already there.
It was a risky question about the dog. What if he said a miniature dachshund? That'd change your view.
It was a risky question, but it wasn't my risk.
Any other further discussion about the fence?
Don't ask for a 6-foot fence.
Heather, can you please call a vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Goling,
Yes.
Mr. Rowan,
Yes.
Mr. Falkowski,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Ms. Garkar.
Yes. Your variance has been approved. Enjoy the new fence. It's coming up soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Good luck.
Have a good night.
You too. Good luck.
Righty.
Yes.
Before I go into the next chunk of business, I am very well aware that this applicant has not been sworn in, because when we did the swearing in, I was able to visually see he was not here. Do I just offer to swear him in when he comes up and just do it singularly?
Of course.
Okay, just want to make sure.
But yes, for sure.
Okay, thank you. Well, then next up on the agenda from new business is variance application 2025-180. Ken Marosis, I apologize if I, Maroos, and Jill Van Aken, on behalf of the property owner, Jacqueline Van Akens, I apologize for pronunciation, trustee of Jacqueline Van Aken's reinstatement of trust dated March 22nd, 2018, is requesting a variance from section 15.03 F1 to allow for the construction of a gazebo with a 25-foot diameter in lieu of the maximum 14-foot diameter. This is for property located at 7480 Mountain Quail Place, also known as parcel number 08A-013-C-00-016-0. Heather, could you give a summary of the
Yes.
application?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Okay, again, up here on the slide, I have a street view image of the property from Mountain Quail Place, which you essentially cannot see the house. You just see the driveway there. As you can see, the site plan on the right outlines the parcel in red. The property is located on the south side of Mountain Quail Place, which is located off of Quail Hollow Drive within the Quail Hollow subdivision. The property is zoned R2 planned unit development and contains approximately 1.17 acres of land. It's currently developed with a single-family dwelling with an attached three-car garage that was built in 1999. As proposed, the applicant is wishing to erect a new gazebo, which would be 25 feet in diameter. The gazebo will be located in the rear yard directly behind the dwelling where there is currently a stone patio area and would be approximately 20 feet from the west property line, 90 feet from the east, 37 feet from the south property line, and 450 feet from the north property line, which is the street there. On this slide, you can see a couple site plans that were provided by the applicant showing its location, and then a rendering of what the gazebo would look like if approved.
Thank you very much, Heather. If the applicant would like to come forward, and first we will swear you in.
Okay.
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God? If so, say I do.
I do.
Okay, and now please state your name and address for the
Joe
record.
Myers, the architect for the project,
And your address.
38030 2nd Street, Willoughby.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is an image of the gazebo that they are looking to build, and it is certainly on a unique lot, that's in the neighborhood. This lot, comes from a cul-de-sac up a long driveway and kind of happens out in the middle of the golf course. So it's surrounded by the Quail Hollow Golf Course all the way around. So it's certainly a unique situation, and that the impact of the gazebo in a yard in this situation would be different. It wouldn't have the impact on the surrounding houses that it would if it was just on one of the neighborhood lots kind of lined up in a row with the houses all around it. The lot itself, even from the golf course, it has mature trees that completely surround it, so that it's hard to see into the lot even from the golf course, let alone from the neighborhood looking out toward the house. And it would be built, this is the existing backyard of the house, and where it is right now, there is a patio with a stone wall around it that the gazebo is going to be built kind of on this same location. So it's not a new patio being added to the yard. The patio is already there. They want to put a gazebo or a roof over the top of it. This code is a little different than I've seen before, that they specify the size of the gazebos, the size of pavilions. Looking up the definition of what a gazebo is or what a pavilion is, a pavilion could be 400 square feet. A gazebo can only be a 14-foot diameter, much smaller than that. So both of them are a freestanding structure, open air. It does say gazebos may be partially enclosed with screens. Pavilion would be completely open. This structure that they're planning does not have screens. It would be completely open, and I consider it to be more of a pavilion other than its octagon. A pavilion could be, being a rectangle, could be 400 square feet. Because it's an octagon, it's limited to a smaller size because of the shape of it. In either case, it's open air. It's got a roof over it, but no enclosures around it. So the 25-foot space, again, is kind of to build it over in the existing area where they wanted to build it. And, And again, it's a very unique situation that this lot is kind of out in the middle of the golf course and not in a neighborhood of houses for the gazebo to have an impact on.
Is it gonna go right where that little concrete table is?
Well, it'll go right in the middle of this.
Got it.
You know, so there's already a stone wall around it. You know, the idea is to still have a stone wall around the gazebo.
Understood.
The wall would have to be kind of reconstructed to support the gazebo, but it's, you know, back in the same area where the patio is now.
Is that
Can you
like
pass,
just
can you pass that picture out? Is
Yeah,
that in
we
your
don't have
packet? Are either of those two pictures in your packet?
We don't have that.
Yeah. Could you pass those around?
Sure.
Yeah, just,
Yeah, thank you. You know what the diameter of that umbrella is?
Yeah, it's not.
I
8 feet,
believe it's
maybe?
8 foot. I know the diameter of the circle is 25 feet. That's kind of how they picked the 25 feet. They wanted to kind of build it,
Similar diameters?
yeah, the same,
Okay, so-
almost the same diameter.
So visually, it would fit right in?
Yes.
Okay.
It's really
You can see the landscape plan in the packet. It'll be very well landscaped around the gazebo. You know, be kind of fitting right in with the landscaping of the yard, you know.
There is one picture in the packet that they actually put a circle dot
Right, I saw that.
that kind of shows a little bit better of the exact location.
I 100% would hit this with a golf ball.
They do get golf balls in the patio.
Yeah, they do.
And a roof would help protect that patio from them
Yeah.
coming down.
I have a horrible
Practical
choice.
difficulty.
Do we have any other questions or comments for the applicant?
He's giving me Bruce looks.
If not, you may be seated.
Okay.
Is there anyone else here speaking for or against this variance? Okay. This is just one. Yes. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Discussion.
Pavilion and gazebo, I never considered the difference. Now I know.
Yeah,
Now I know.
Learn
never
something
thought
new.
about that.
But I mean, I think that a lot of thought went into the designing of using the existing footprint. And, you know, I have an umbrella that's about 11 feet, 14 feet, a little bit bigger, 25. I mean, I could see where it would fit the content and character of the house in the backyard.
Correct.
It just, it wouldn't make sense to make it smaller. I don't think it would just seem out of place, but it seems like it was a lot of thought and effort was put into it.
And I think this property is a unique piece of property in the fact of where they're putting the gazebo. They have neighbors of a pond and a golf course, so neighbors are not going to be affected either direction
No.
of looking at this, other than maybe less golf balls to their head. So yeah. Do you guys have any comments, questions,
Once again, I
concerns?
agree with Mr. Golding. That's two.
2 in a row?
The only comment I would make is that if our zoning rules say 14, and do we need to have the zoning commission address, like maybe we need to look at that, that's something maybe we go back to them with.
Seems like it was an issue in the past that there must have been some reason they distinguished between the
Right.
two that doesn't exist anymore there.
So I think it's, I like it, I think, but, just kind of a side note is to, if we can get a note to the zoning commission, to, hey, maybe take a look at this. Might be worth bringing up, but yeah, I like it.
There's no further discussion. Heather, could you please call the vote? Thank you.
Mr. Goling?
Yeah.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes?
Mr. Falkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Rowan?
Yes.
Ms. Garpar?
Yes.
Thank you.
Your application has been approved. I hope they enjoy the gazebo. There are no minutes for approval, and so the next meeting will be on November 12th. The meeting for October for the Board of Zoning Appeals is now adjourned.